Welcome back, everyone. We're talking to another nominee for the 2021 BBB Awards for Excellence. This time, we're talking to Whitney Patterson. She is the Executive Director of the Literacy Council of Tyler. They are one of the nominees in the charity and nonprofit category. So Whitney, on the Zoom, you're over here. Nice to meet you.
Hi, good to be here.
So tell us about Literacy Council of Tyler. Give us a little background and kind of what you do right now.
Sure. So the Literacy Council of Tyler was founded in 1990, and we have really grown and expanded over the years, but our mission has always been to educate adults in the area and to further education of all adults at all levels in a lot of different ways. So now we have several different programs. We have GED prep for people who need their high school equivalency. We have English as a second language, and what we call career pathways. And sometimes that combines those two programs and also career pathways where they can go into a certification program. And we partner with TJC and other entities for that. And we cover their cost and help them through it. And then the ideal goal is for them to come out on the other side, going into a sustainable career for them and their families.
Well, cool. So you mentioned adults. Let's talk about the folks that you help serve. Adult 18 or older, is there an age, or what are maybe some of just the most basic, requirements for somebody that you would help?
So yes, primarily 18 and older. There are some exceptions for younger than 18, but primarily 18 and older, and anyone who wants to further their education, whether that be they didn't graduate high school, or sometimes maybe they did graduate high school, but are wanting to get into a different career. And there are parameters for qualifying for those programs, but we can still help them sometimes even if they do have their high school and they're just needing a certification of some sort or continuing education. And then anyone who's wanting to learn English, reading and writing.
We're talking with Whitney Patterson. She is the Executive Director of the Literacy Council of Tyler. They are nominated for a BBB Award for Excellence. You can vote. It's right here. It's bbbawards.com. So vote for them. They're over there. Vote for them or anybody you would like to. So Whitney, tell me about how 2020 went with kind of the inability to teach in the traditional manners that we're used to. That really wasn't just you. That was everybody, right? School ages of all was just kind of thrown for a loop. So what did you guys have to do to adapt to teaching in really the most untraditional ways?
Yeah, so after spring break of 2020, we were thrown into this virtual world like everybody else, and we had to really quickly pivot our classes onto online, which we had not done much of prior. But our staff really worked hard and we got everything up and going within just a couple of weeks. It's really a challenge for a lot of our population. A lot of our students are low level literacy, meaning they read and write at a low level. Actually, about 60% of Smith County adults read below an 8th grade level. That's something that always blows me away. But anyway, and when you have someone who reads and writes at that low of a level, there's also a digital literacy component. There are so many people, adults right here in our area, who do not have digital literacy skills at all. And so it was a real challenge. But we were able to pivot and make it happen. And then when we were able to resume some in person, we had to do kind of a hybrid thing, right? And we're still doing that now. The good thing, I would say the silver lining is there are some groups of our students where virtual learning works really well for. There are a lot of transportation issues, child care challenges for our students. Because like I said, they're all adults. The vast majority of them are working adults, parents with families. And so we will keep a digital component. And I think that's like the one silver lining of 2020. But yeah, we were able to make it work. We served a good number less individuals in 2020 just because we did have that period of shutdown, but we still helped just over 1,500 people in Smith County in the year of 2020.
We're talking with Whitney Patterson. She's the Executive Director for the Literacy Council of Tyler, nominated for BBB Award for Excellence. They're a charity nonprofit, obviously. Whitney, tell us where you're at, location. You talk about, teaching in person. You have classrooms. What is kind of your setup for somebody, let's say on a normal teaching atmosphere?
Yeah, so our administrative offices are at TJC West,
Okay.
But we have other locations. Normally, when we're not in COVID, we have as many as 14 locations throughout the county.
Okay.
Right now, we're at about 4, but most of our GED and Career Pathways classes are at TJC West. And then First Presbyterian Church is a wonderful partner with us for our English as a Second Language classes. And then normally we have classes at TISD campuses, but that's been on hold for almost a year now. And then we also work with a program with the Family Learning Center of Tyler, and that's in partnership with TISD and TJC, and that's in North Tyler. But, if we're talking no COVID and back to normal, then we would have in-person classes all over the county. So that's what we hope to get back to here in the next few months.
And the folks teaching the classes, volunteers, staffers, who's teaching?
Yeah, it's a mix of both. We have a wonderful core group of staff instructors who are highly trained, highly skilled. Many of them are retired teachers, or they just really have a passion for adult education. And then we have as many as 200 to 250 volunteers. And that's people who are tutoring one-on-one. A lot of our students, everyone learns differently.
Sure.
A lot of them, that's why they're in our programs, because they have learning challenges. And so they're paired one-on-one with a volunteer tutor, or volunteers will be teacher instructor aides and help in the classroom. And that's actually come in handy with Zoom classes too.
Yeah.
So we've utilized volunteers throughout the whole time.
So obviously 2021 is off to a start, right? We'll just say it has started.
Yes.
But as we sit here at the beginning of March, and as we look forward to hopefully things kind of, trending in a correct direction, what is an ideal scenario for you guys? What are, I guess, are goals, or can you even set like certain goals, because things can change literally like that?
Well, it's been very hard to set goals during a pandemic, but we do know that a record number of Texans are unemployed or underemployed because of the pandemic, and we do know that demand and enrollment in our programs is higher than it has traditionally been. In January, we enrolled twice as many individuals as January of 2020, two times. And I expect that trend to continue. We've got a lot of people out of work who are needing sustainable jobs. And we have people who maybe their job didn't require a GED before, but now they need that GED. So I would say our goals are to keep up with the pace and to meet the needs into the future, and however that looks in the future, as we continue to navigate COVID and everything else.
We want to be respectful of your time. We thank you for joining us. I have one final question. Somebody comes to you, say it's me or anybody else. They say, I need help. What is the timeline and what is the process for that person, and then your process, and then hopefully what is the end goal?
Well, we have enrollments into all of our programs every week, and we have intake staff and volunteers who help walk you through the process. If you're needing your GED, that process looks a little different than if you're wanting to learn English. But from the very first meeting, our goal is to meet the student needs and help them in the best way for them. And our programs are very individualized, which is hard to do when you're helping 1,500 people in a year, but it's necessary for them to be individualized. So you would, if you were coming in to say work toward your GED, you would come in and meet and go through our enrollment process, take practice tests, and then we would determine what was the best route for you to meet your goal. So the timeline, it really just depends. I mean, we're talking about individuals with a vast array of experiences and knowledge. We've got English as a second language students who can barely speak English, all the way up to professionals who are just wanting and needing conversational English skills. So it's really hard to say how long they would be in our program. So it just depends on what their goals are.
Well, I know that we here, BBB, we appreciate everything you do. You're talking about 1,500 folks a year from just the immediate area that are taking part of your services and taking advantage of what you have to offer. I thank you on behalf of them. And so, folks, again, it's Whitney Patterson, the Executive Director of the Literacy Council of Tyler. They're located at TJC West, which is where the office is, so off the loop. So stop and get you barbecue first, and then go see them. But Whitney, we appreciate you, and thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. We're happy to be nominated. Thanks for having me.